Hello, everybody. David Shuster here. The world's richest man, Elon Musk, is now reportedly weirding out the Donald Trump transition team. According to several reports, Musk has become that dinner guest who overstays his welcome and wants to sleep over and move in.
He definitely inserts himself all the time. That's his style. That's why he's just suddenly shown up there like the guest that wouldn't leave. And I've heard from Trump people calling me saying, "Oh, wow, this is odd," and I'm like, "Yeah, it is. You'll see much more of it." But he's not going anywhere until Trump throws him out, which could happen because they're both really strong personalities who like to be at the center of attention.
Elon Musk got a lot of attention soon after Donald Trump's election victory by joining this Trump family photo. The image, shared by Trump granddaughter Kai Trump, was captioned "the whole squad," even though Melania was missing. The photo included the president-elect Trump, his 5 children, 5 grandchildren, and holding one, Elon Musk.
You know, they're both narcissists, and there can be only one narcissist as head of the country, and that's Donald Trump, who just won the election. I think, he owes things to Elon, but at some point if he takes too much of the attention. Think about Steve Bannon. Do you remember he was on the cover of that magazine and how quickly he got out, even though he was critical to Trump's first campaign, and he was right in the middle of the White House, and then he wasn't. And so Trump, goes through people like tissues, essentially. And I think even if it's Elon Musk and Elon has a lot of money and means and things like that, they're going to clash at some point.
In the meantime, Donald Trump has called Musk an amazing guy and a new star and says that Musk will serve a key role in the Trump administration. At the moment, Donald Trump keeps suggesting that Musk will oversee a government efficiency commission and help slash the federal budget. It would help Donald Trump shrink government agencies, and it would help Musk get some of those agencies off the back of his companies, including SpaceX and Tesla.
He is regulated by a variety of federal agencies, and he's often fighting with them about the limits they're putting on Tesla's self-driving cars or the delays they put into SpaceX's rocket launches. So he would certainly like those regulations to go away or be enforced in a way where he could speed up. The question to me is what sort of role he will get in the Trump administration. Trump had talked about him having sort of a role as the head of government efficiency, which would give him some pretty direct sort of oversight over the agencies that oversee him. As it seems like now, he seems like sort of a presidential sidekick or a co-president. So he may not even need a formal role to exercise that kind of power.
And the power that Musk has right now as a presidential sidekick was evident in a recent Donald Trump call with Ukraine's Vladimir Zelensky.
Zelensky apparently called Trump to congratulate him, and Trump literally at some point early on in this conversation hands the phone to Elon Musk and encourages Zelensky to talk to Musk. There is some discussion between Musk and Zelensky about the communications apparatus that Elon Musk's company Starlink is providing in Ukraine. We're not sure what other details were discussed, but it's a little reminiscent, Caitlin, of when Trump won in 2016 and he had his daughter Ivanka next to him when he was having foreign leader calls, and he would put her on the phone with people. In this case, it's the richest man in the world who has business with government, and it's slightly different, but it's pretty in keeping with Trump's character.
And Trump's character has long been influenced by Russia's Vladimir Putin. The Wall Street Journal reports that Putin and Musk have had several conversations the past few years. We will get to that and the Trump fealty to Russia in just a moment. But first, regarding Elon Musk coming across to the Trump team as weird and being like the guest who never leaves, the stories leaked to the media have a purpose. They signal that Trump is the only one in the incoming administration who currently has a close relationship with Musk, and that Musk is persona non grata with Donald Trump's staff. In other words, outside of Donald Trump and his family, Musk has no other advocates or defenders. His status in the Trump White House depends entirely and solely on staying in Donald Trump's good graces. And former Trump administration officials say it's only a matter of time before Musk is forced to tone down his high profile or do something else that Musk doesn't like and flames out. Here's former Trump White House Communications Director Anthony Scaramucci.
Elon Musk and others, right now, they're in the halcyon moment with Donald Trump, but they will come to the Hades moment with him. It's just a matter of time, because you're not going to be able to do some of the things that he wants you to do. And a lot of these people won't be able to put themselves in these moral pretzels that Donald Trump wants to twist you into. There is a reason why 40 of us tried to tell the American people what the danger was.
Now, speaking of dangers, we mentioned Musk being on the Trump phone call with Ukraine's Vladimir Zelensky. Nearly 3 years ago, Russia invaded Ukraine, and Ukraine is still fighting for its life thanks to weapons and help from the United States and Europe. Donald Trump, to the delight of isolationist conservatives and to Russia, has indicated that the U.S. help for Ukraine is going to end. However, last week, as the Washington Post reports, Trump talked to Putin, told Russian leader not to escalate war in Ukraine. 3 days later, Putin escalated the war in Ukraine. Moscow Times headline, Russia and Ukraine launch biggest drone attacks of war yet. Trump's impotence over Russia could have been predicted because, never mind Trump's allegiance to Putin, Trump's reported plan to end the war in Ukraine has incentivized Russian efforts to grab as much Ukrainian territory as possible before Donald Trump's inauguration. The Trump peace plan, according to multiple reports, is to get both sides to agree to let Russia keep what it's captured so far with a demilitarized zone on the front lines. There are two problems with that. First of all, it means Ukraine loses territory and the Ukrainians who live there are now the subjects of a despot. The other problem is that Vladimir Putin has a huge incentive to seize as much territory as his Russian troops can between now and Donald Trump's inauguration day. Thus, the record number of Russian drone attacks, followed by Ukraine's largest ever drone response. So much for Donald Trump telling Putin not to escalate. And to remind Donald Trump who is the boss in the Putin relationship, Russia's largest state-sponsored television program over the weekend reported on Donald Trump's election victory by diminishing and mocking Trump's wife, Melania. Headline, Russian state TV airs Melania Trump's nudes on prime time.
Мелания Трамп, муж, наконец, победил, готовится во второй раз стать хозяйкой Белого дома. А вот так Мелания выглядела в 2000 году. Смотрите, обложка глянцевого журнала GQ. Будущая первая леди в неглиже лежит на шкуре.
For her part, Melania Trump has said she is proud of the modeling work she did more than 20 years ago. Still, for Russian state television to reduce her to just that, lying on a fur in her negligee, the message is clear. Russia does not think much of Donald Trump or his wife and is happy to disrespect or ridicule Donald Trump anytime Vladimir Putin wants. To put an exclamation point on that, Vladimir Putin never called Donald Trump to congratulate him on the election. Instead, Putin sat back and waited for Trump to call him. It's Donald Trump who has to show respect to Putin, not the other way around. Putin is the alpha male. Donald Trump is his b****. So if you're keeping score, the pecking order in all of this is Putin, then Trump, then Elon Musk. And while Donald Trump playing second fiddle to Putin is just how it is, Trump can limit the extent to which Elon Musk encroaches on Donald Trump's narcissism and ego. So don't be surprised if Elon Musk is a short timer in the Trump administration. Musk is not somebody who can tone things down, as Minnesota Governor Tim Walz noted during the campaign.
Look, Elon's on that stage, jumping around, skipping like a dipshit on these things. You know it.
Indeed, Elon Musk was strange and couldn't control himself during campaign rallies. And now, Donald Trump transition team members are calling Musk weird and saying he is overstaying his welcome. Eventually, Donald Trump will see it as well, because remember, the worst sin that anybody can commit in a Trump White House or administration is taking attention away from Donald Trump. By the way, as Donald Trump's reckless plans for the U.S. economy emerged, the chairman of the Federal Reserve, the independent banking system in the United States, just gave Trump the middle finger.
Some of the president-elect's advisors have suggested that you should resign. If he asked you to leave, would you go?
No.
Can you follow up on, do you think that legally you're not required to leave?
No.
Do you believe that the president has the power to fire or demote you, and has the Fed determined the legality of a president demoting at will any of the other governors with leadership positions?
Not permitted under the law.
I think Donald Trump is going to try to crush the independence of the Fed, and I'm worried what Senate Republicans do in this moment. The one thing Donald Trump understands is cheap money and good deals. And his good deals are either cheap money or because he doesn't have to pay his money back. Here is the Republican magic when it comes to the economy. When they're in control, they burn it white hot with all the irresponsibility in the world until they crash it and they hand it over to Democrats to rebuild it. Donald Trump knows that. He knows there's a latency in this process. And so he's going to burn it white hot for 4 years. And people are going to feel the heroin high. They're going to have cheap money. Everything's going to be great. But guess what? It's going to crash things in the long term.
Check out that video at the link below. It generated a lot of comments on YouTube. One of the most popular is from Mark Grifferin, who wrote, Trump has as much intelligence as his supporters. Remember, he's a stinker, not a thinker. I hear you. I look forward to reading your comments about Elon Musk weirding out the Trump transition team. I'm David Shuster. Thanks for joining us.